Hello guys, today we are going to talk about CSS positioning. Positioning is required in HTML to position the HTML elements in our web page. Okay, so let's take a look at the different types of positioning that are available in CSS. So the first and type of positioning that is available that which is it is static. Okay, so I have a demo project right here, which is up and running, and we'll take a look at all of these positionings one by one. So let's add an HTML element which says I am an element with position static. Okay, and I'll apply a ID to this element, which is, let's say, static. Okay, and to this static element I'll give a border so that we can distinguish it in our HTML document. Okay, so here we have our HTML element. So we haven't applied any positioning as of now, but this is the element, okay, on which we have an applied an ID as static. So let's see how this positioning static works. So, but before that, what I'll do is I'll apply a basic color on the background color on the body of the document, so as to distinguish the different elements. Okay, yeah. So on the static element, first of all, we'll apply a position as static, and I'll also open the inspect mode side by side so that we can inspect this element. Okay, so as you see, the position of this element, of this para element, is static. Okay, so what does static means? Static means that the position of that element in your web page will remain static irrespective of whatever position you applied. Okay, so if I applied a top position of 100 pixel, which basically says that this static element will be at a position from below 100 pixel from its normal position. Okay, so if we see, it's not moving. Okay, the position of it is fixed, yeah, because the position is static. And if we applied any more uh, position, such as from left of 200 pixel, yeah, as the position is static, this element won't move according to the position that we have specified, that is a top or a left or bottom or right, whatever position we specify. And as far as the position is static, the element won't move, or you can say won't position itself according to the external positions that we are specifying. Okay, so this is the static positioning. Next, take a look at the relative positioning. Position relative. Okay, and also I'll apply an ID as relative, and in the style sheet I'll apply the same border so that we can distinguish this element. Okay, so here we have our relative element, relative para element. Okay, but as of now, like, we have not applied any position to this relative element. So now what we'll do is we'll apply a position of relative. So yeah, no change at all. So what exactly this position relative means? It states that the position of this HTML element will be relative to the its normal flow, okay, to its normal position in this HTML document. This is the normal position of this relative element, okay. So, and we have applied the position as relative, but now if we specify an external position such as top of 100 pixel and take a look now, yeah, there it is. So this relative element has been moved from 100 pixel from the top with respect to its normal position in the HTML. So if I remove, if I inspect this relative element, and if I remove this top of 100 pixel, you will notice that it goes back to its normal position. Okay, and if I apply it again, it goes down to 100 pixel. And I can also apply one more property such as left of 100 pixel. So from the left it moves to a 100 pixel. Okay, so that is how a relative element works. Relative. So that, and also that is the basic difference between a static position and a relative position. That static position, whatever the top, left, bottom and right position we specify to a static position, it doesn't get changed. But to a relative position, if we apply this top or left or bottom or right positions, it moves or changes its position according to the its relative to its normal position in the document. Okay, so next take a look at the fixed position. Okay, so to this fixed element, we'll apply the same border, and let's take a look in the document. Okay, so there it is, the fixed element. Okay, so what fixed element says, or what is the functionality of the fixed element in CSS? The fixed element basically stays fixed with respect to the viewport. Okay, the width and height of my screen, it remains fixed to the viewport, to the device dimensions. If we scroll down the page, okay, the this element won't get scrolled down, it will be fixed to the position that we specify to it. Okay, let's understand it with an example. Now we'll apply a position of fixed to it. Yeah, so as you can see, this document is not large enough to scroll. So what I'll do is I'll increase the height of this document, height of 200 view height, that is double the size of the normal height of this document. Okay, and now if I scroll down, you will see that this fixed element, even if the scrolling moves, remains fixed. You can see the scroll bar going down, but this fixed element will remain fixed. Okay, so that is how a fixed element works. Fixed element, if we specify a position fixed, it remains fixed with relative to its viewport, which is the device screen configuration. Next is an absolute. Okay, and to this absolute element, let's apply the same border. Okay, so I'll move this fixed element to somewhat down top of 200 pixel, or maybe a 250 pixel. Yeah, so there is our absolute element. Okay, and the difference between what is the main functionality of an absolute element, right? So we haven't, let's specify a position of absolute to this absolute element. Okay, and as we can see, no changes as of now. So what absolute element does is it will move in the HTML document relative to its parent. Okay, and currently the parent of this HTML element is the body of it, is the entire body of, okay, of the HTML document. So if I mention a bottom of 100 pixel, let's see where it goes. Okay, it has been moved from the bottom to 100 pixel. Okay, and from left to a 100 pixel. Okay, so currently the parent of this absolute element is the body. Okay, so you can say that what is the difference between relative positioning and an absolute positioning, since they are performing in the same way, right? So absolute position is necessary when we are, let's say, let me give an example for this. When we are positioning elements inside a container. Okay, so this div element will act as a container. ID is equals to container. Okay, and to this container I'll add a border, another border, solid of 2 pixel red. Okay, and I'll remove this positionings from the absolute element for now. Okay, so this red border is the, this div element is now the parent of my absolute element. Okay, so, and now what I'll do is I'll increase the height of this container to, let's say, 500 pixel. Okay, the other element are also getting inserted in it, so I'll remove them. The position relative, I'll just simply comment these out. Yeah, and the fixed one also, I'll just comment this out for now. Okay, the fixed element, okay, yeah. So this division, this red box which you see, this is the parent container for our child, for the absolute element. Okay, now I'll apply a position of relative to my parent. That means it will be relative to its normal position in the HTML document. Okay, and I'll apply a position of absolute to my child element, with this absolute element which is the child of my container. Okay, and now if I apply a position of top, let's say 100 pixel, you can see that it is moving now not with respect to the body of the HTML but with respect to this container. Okay, so that is how an absolute element works. And an absolute element positions itself with respect, with relative to its parent. Okay, the parent of this absolute element is not the body now, rather it's this container. And for this absolute element to position itself, the parent must have a position of relative. Okay, so if I apply a left of 100 pixel, you see this has, and this absolute element has been moved 100 pixel from the top and 100 pixel from the left with respect to the this division, which is the container box. So that is how an absolute element works. Okay, next comes the sticky part. All right, sticky positioning. Okay, so at the very start of the document, I'll introduce I am an sticky element and the ID to which as sticky. Okay, so let's see how this sticky things work. Now border of solid 1 pixel and black. Okay, the sticky element is right there. Okay, so what is the functionality of the sticky element? Let's take a look. Let's understand it by the example itself. Okay, so from the name itself, sticky, what it does mean is that it sticks to a particular place that we will specify. Okay, so we have mentioned the position sticky, but what we haven't mentioned that it will stick to a position of top 0 pixel. When we scroll down this page, let's say we are scrolling down this page, it will, let's take a look, keep your eyes on the sticky element. It will stick to the top, all the element will move red, but the sticky element will be stick to the top because we have mentioned a top of 10 pixel. But rather if we give a top of 10 pixel, what you'll notice is that it will stick exactly at a 10 pixel from the top. Or to increase it, I'll increase it to 100 pixel. See, 100 pixel from the top, it will be sticked whenever we scroll down or up. So that is how a sticky element works. All right, and the last one is stacking. Stacking is not a positioning, rather it's a concept in of which is included with positioning. So let's take a look at what exactly is stacking. Okay, so this container right here, okay, this one, this has a position of relative, and inside it we have a child element which has a position of absolute. Okay, so let's say if I want to include one more element, let's say an image inside this container which has a source and alt. Okay, so let me just fit this image properly inside the division, inside the container. Yeah, the image is taking the full width and height of the container, and I also have my absolute element right there. Okay, so the parent is this container, and I'll move this absolute part right here and the sticky part. Okay, so this container, this is the parent with this, and this absolute is the child this is the first child, and this image is another child to this container. Okay, so we're dealing with multiple elements inside a container. Okay, how do we position them? So what we do is we apply the position relative as similar to the parent element, and to the child elements we apply a position absolute, and to the image element also I'll apply a position of absolute. Yeah, so as you can see, the this the absolute element which was referring to as I am an absolute element has been disappeared right now. Why this is happening? When we include one or more elements in a container and position them, they are kind of stacked one above the another. Okay, so the absolute element is present, still present, but it is hidden behind the my image element. Okay, so this is known as stacking in CSS. This is known as stacking. And how to, like, how can we utilize this? Like, if we have to show the one element above the another, or the vice versa, how can we do this? There is a property called z index. If I apply that z index of 1 on this absolute, you'll see this element now. Okay, but rather if I apply the z index on 1 on 2 on this image, you can see that it is gone now. Okay, so and if we keep the same, let's take a look. No, the if we keep the z index of both elements same, the latest introduced child element will be shown on the top, because it is a stack. It works as a stack. This division is working as a stack now. So I'll make it 0 so that we can see this absolute element. Okay, so these were the different types of positionings and stacking, and how we can make use of z index to position one element above the another. Okay. And so these positioning techniques that we can utilize to position different elements in our web page. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.